This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It is brought to you every week at this time on this station by Independent Bank. My co-host is Katy, Huckle, and glad to have you back in the guest chair. We flew solo with John and Ann last week from the Cadillac Freedom Festival, and now we're both here to welcome Rachel Reinink from Love Inc., because it is a big month for Love Inc.
It is.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome, Rachel. So for our listeners that aren't familiar with this very important organization, Love Inc. stands for Love in the Name of Christ, and we've got the executive director with us. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for having me today.
Yes, tell me, first of all, you need to raise a lot of money.
We do.
Let's talk about it.
Yes, so for the month of July, we are hoping to raise $40,000.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of money, but we have been able to do it for the past couple years, so we have no doubt that we'll be able to do it again.
Right. You know, and I served on your board of directors, as you know.
Yes.
And one thing I will say about Love Inc., Rich, that there isn't anything that they can't help with. They find a way.
That's true.
And there isn't a big clearinghouse to gain access to help with Love Inc. And I think that's one of the things that I love so much about the organization is if someone needs help, it's not intimidating to get to you folks and to ask for that help. Can you describe how that works? Because I know you've got an incredible group of volunteers.
We do,
Okay.
yeah. So we are located here in Cadillac, but we serve Missaukee, Wexford, and Osceola counties. So individuals and families can either call in to our call center, or we call it Connection Center, or they can walk in to our main office, and they are greeted by volunteers and employees with a smile and a friendly face. And then they just are able to tell us what their need is, where their heartaches are, and we listen, and our job is to meet those needs and figure out how to best solve the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The $40,000 is a lot of money to raise in 30 days.
Yep.
Can you tell us what types of things you'll be buying or where that money goes so folks understand?
Yep. So this year we are being very intentional and very specific about what that money is used for. So it will be for utility bills and propane tanks. We've noticed an increase this year in those requests, and specifically because the way that funding has been limited this year through DHHS and through meat funding and just the reduction of aid, the way that we have seen need increase has just been a little bit overwhelming. And so we thought, you know what, if we just really are intentional about how we utilize that funding, I think that would make a greater impact for our community.
Mm-hmm. So donors know where their money is going.
Exactly.
Did you receive a lot of fuel calls this past winter? I mean, it was a harsh winter.
We have. Okay. So last year we had about 103 requests for propane, and we're already at 103% of that goal this year, 6 months in. Okay. So we anticipate that goal for that request amount to double by the end of the winter time. Same thing with utilities. We're at 76% of the requests that have come in for utilities. So we're just anticipating those requests to be much, much higher this year just because of the nature of the situation. So that's why the intention is to focus solely on utility bills and propane requests and putting those funds directly towards those two things.
Okay. For folks out there that want to help, what's the best way to donate to the agency? How do you want to receive money from donors?
So we are trying to make it as easy as possible for our donors, so they can literally walk in and give us donations that way. They can mail a check directly to us, and I can give you that mailing address. It's 753 Sunnyside Drive, Cadillac, Michigan, 49601. We have a PayPal account that they can give directly through PayPal. It's on our social social media pages and our website. And we have a Venmo account, which is also linked to our social media pages and our website. So however you have handles or checks or just want to walk in, we take pretty much any way that you want to donate.
Excellent. Can we talk about food outreach? I know you have so many partner churches, and you really are an excellent collaborator, Rachel. But you upped the game that you guys got into the food pantry.
We did.
Okay.
Yes. So this past year, we opened up our community food pantry. We are connected with... currently, we have 66 church partners through the 3 counties.
Incredible.
I know.
That is
Incredible.
a big number.
It is a big, huge number, and we are so blessed. And so we are the only food pantry currently that is open in these 3 counties 5 days a week, full-time, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 3:30 p.m. So clients can come in all 5 days a week, all day long, to receive not only food, but hygiene products, paper products, baby products that includes diapers and wipes, adult diapers, adult wipes. That has just been a huge, huge blessing for our community, and we're pretty proud of that.
Where are the pantries? Are they within the churches?
It's actually on site at our office.
Okay.
Yep. So the churches, our partners, and local community members actually donate financially so we can purchase those things on hand, or they donate tangibly the items that we need, and so that we just have everything right on site. It's easier for us to be able to just give those things to our clients that walk in versus having to tell our clients, well, you're here, but you also now have to go to these locations, and just makes it more difficult. So being able to resource somebody right out of the gate with everything that they need, it's just a better way to serve our clients.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen an uptick in, you mentioned fuel, propane, gas. Have you seen an uptick in the need for food?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. That's food is in our top 5 needs every single month. Okay. Food prices are really high. And so when food prices are high and
utility bills are high,
yeah. Gas prices are high, the cost of living is really high, rent and mortgages are really high. And then when you don't have a lot of food benefits on your food card, of course, everything is just really difficult for the everyday family. And so when we give our food pantry items to a family, we also give a list of all of the food pantries in the area so that they know that we are not the only ones. This takes a village of pantries to help our community members survive. And so we are a food pantry and we do provide food, but we're just a little guy in a big pond or a big sea of lots of pantries that can make this thing work really, really well. So, we offer a couple days worth, but if they hit all the pantries on those other days, they'll be well off.
They can make it.
Yeah, they can make it.
You put together a program for children on birthdays that just chokes me right up. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so a while back, we had realized that there were a lot of kiddos that weren't able to celebrate their birthday because their parents don't have the financial means to celebrate their birthday. And so we had a few churches that were willing to create birthday kits for us to be able to provide for our clients' children. And so each month we're able to provide those birthday kits for a kiddo, which includes a birthday cake and balloons and candles and a little something to go with that for each kiddo, because we believe that each child is a child of God and is worth celebrating.
It's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Right. You're meeting the needs, and then as more needs pop up, you're reacting to them so quickly. We're just so thankful. We want to know a little bit about your journey. You've got a clergy background.
I do.
Okay, let's hear about that.
Yep. So I'm actually from a little town called McBain, Michigan. So was born and raised around here, but I moved to the greater Grand Rapids area for about 15 years. And I got my theology degree from Western Theological Seminary and was a pastor for quite a few years. And then my husband and I just felt this calling to move back home about 4 years ago. So we did, and we now live here in Cadillac, just down the road actually on 115. And I was without a job for about 6 months, just trying to figure out where I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to be doing. It's a little bit tricky finding a job when you're a female pastor in northern Michigan, unfortunately. That's all right, though.
Yep.
And then my mom actually said, I think you'd really like working at Love Inc. And so there was actually a job opening, and I applied. Didn't hear back for quite a while. I assumed they filled the intake position that was open, but eventually I did get a call back, and I interviewed, and I got the job. Eventually, the director retired, and that was the whole process of me discerning whether or not I wanted that director job. And I ended up taking it, and the rest is kind of history.
Yes, that's right. And here we are.
And here we are.
What are the biggest challenges that someone who leads a nonprofit like the one you lead face on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis?
Honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I would say the hardest part for me is helping the community understand that we cannot do this alone. We actually, genuinely, truly need each other. And so we cannot silo from each other. I need the next nonprofit as much as they need me. And so when I do something, it's not to say that I'm better than anyone else. Mm-hmm. When someone else does something, it's not to say that they're better than me. We should be encouraging each other and supporting each other and affirming each other and our gifts and our talents. And that's been really difficult for me because I think that sometimes community members see that as a challenge instead of a gift.
I understand. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we do have a spirit of collaboration in Cadillac.
We do.
But we do need to hear from our leaders. What else can we be doing to support you? I think folks would be surprised and alarmed at the need.
Yeah.
If money were no object, and there was someone out there that was going to write you a big check, where would you take the organization? What would you change immediately?
Sure. I would invest in our store. So we have a thrift store in Reed City, and that store needs some love and care. So I would do some renovations in the store immediately, and then I would also open a second one. It does really well for us. So just so everyone knows, that store in Reed City actually pays for all of our administration costs.
Incredible.
So, yeah, it literally is. So everything that all of our employees are run off of that store, all of our overhead is run off of that store. So everything that is donated literally does go right back into the community. We've worked really hard to make sure that happens. Mm-hmm. And so if we could have a second store that was like gifted to us,
right?
Then all of that again would just be pumped right back into the community even more, and we could do even more good.
So Rachel, do you mean like a retail space, and what city would you like to have that in?
I would like to have it here in Cadillac.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you could. I remember seeing the math on the revenue that Reed City, that store throws off, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
And you're thinking you could duplicate it.
I could, yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, if we've got someone out there that owns a commercial building,
Yeah.
she'll take it.
I'll take it.
So it's very important then. So when people have things, and this is the time of year that people do garage sales, and garage sales are such a pain in the neck to do because really, I mean, you have to gather everything and you have to price it, and then everybody comes and wants to dicker on price. So why not just donate it to Love Inc.? Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And we actually have a trailer and we do pickups.
Oh.
Yeah. We
Okay.
do that now. So
how do folks arrange that?
yep. So they can just give us a call at our main office or the thrift store in Reed City, and we'll schedule that pickup for you, and we'll take care of your stuff for you. No problem.
What's that saying? One person's trash is another person's treasure.
That's true.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm telling you, recycle your stuff.
Yes.
And think
Yes.
about what it can churn out and do in the
Yes.
community, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm chuckling because I have a friend that has a real hard time getting rid of things. And she said, I don't want to have to make that decision. I already, had to make the decision. Was I going to buy it? Was I going to wait for it to be on sale? Now to sell it means I've got to deal with it again. And in the meantime, things just keep piling up at her house. As you know what I mean? And I said, maybe we could come in and have a work bee.
There you go.
And help with this before, because I might have one time had a garage full of, years worth of stuff, Rich. That
You may have.
well, I'm just asking for a friend. No, I'm kidding. But I mean,
I think we all do. I think everyone, you get to the point where you have so much because you've been so indecisive about whether or not to get rid of these things that are perfectly workable and serviceable and would be great for someone else. But you know what? I'll deal with that next week or next month.
Because it isn't on fire. It isn't something that you have to handle right away.
Right.
And the other thing I will tell you, as parents, all of us, is the toys. The big wheels and the wagons and the American Girl dolls and all that. They have so many memories with them that when you say goodbye to them and you're going to save them for the grandkids, I mean, really,
Right.
where are you going to put them?
And you're going to blow the dust off of them after them not being used for 15 or 20 years, right?
Well, and they're not even really, your radio flyer is still relevant, but a lot of them are, I don't know that they'd even want to play with them anyway, but I think we get emotionally attached.
We do.
Because of the memories attached with the kids, so.
That's true.
So we talked about the food, we talked about heat, fuel, gas. When it comes to where someone's at emotionally and where and mental health challenges and things like that you deal with, what do those conversations look like? Because I know your intake people have some training in this area.
Yep. Yeah. So that's a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
Right. So we are not therapists. We don't claim to be, but we are listeners.
Okay.
So.
And sometimes that's all people need
Uh-huh.
is someone to listen
Someone who
and
cares.
just get it off your chest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about how sometimes when people call in, they're angry and they're yelling, and it's not our job to be angry back. It's displaced anger.
It's frustration.
It's frustration. They're just angry at their situation. They're angry that this happened to them. They're embarrassed, and so our job is to have empathy and to have compassion, to offer hope, and to have them feel dignity in the situation that they're in. And so we do just spend a lot of time listening and offering words of encouragement and prayer and a solution. Now, it may not be the solution that they were asking for, right? So those are the tough love conversations that we have sometimes of like, hey, I know you want me to just pay this $5,000 consumer's energy bill, but let's talk about why you have spent the past 3 years not working. What's going on? Let's talk about that.
Yes,
right? Like those are those bigger conversations that we get to have with someone.
Those are hard conversations to initiate because it's a very, very fine line coming off between coming off accusatory and coming off as diplomatic.
Right. And they can be. And so it is a dance, right? And so sometimes we do it really well. Sometimes we don't. Yeah. And that's, we're never going to be perfect at it because we're human, but we're trying.
Right. It's just really hard when you have someone on the phone who, and I know we have a lot of working families out there who still are not, the bills are $1,100 when the paycheck is $1,050.
Right.
And so that's
not
difficult.
Their fault.
Exactly.
And it's the working poor.
Yeah. Yes. And it's our job to discern, okay, I can see that you're working really hard. And this is not your fault.
Right.
And we can say that this is not your fault. This is society's fault here. Like this, I get that.
You're a safety net, Rachel. You are.
They are. I'm just watching this all unfold and trying my best to encourage my employees and saying, you guys are doing a good job. Right. Be their cheerleader behind the scenes, because it can be rough on them too, right? Like taking the beating, of trying their best to encourage people. It's just like this pipeline of, man, they get beat up too.
And that those with a heart take it home with them. They do. And it's really difficult.
They do.
So you want to be encouraging to the people who work for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And then these wins for your sales come along. I remember years ago when I was serving on the board, we got a call, and it was a man who owned a bicycle store who donated brand new bikes to all the kids, just out of the blue. Or, I woke up this morning and felt a calling to write a check, and I'm in a big check, and so I'll be dropping that. I mean, there are these generous people, these with a heart of philanthropy that meet the needs you didn't even know that you had, and all of a sudden every kid's got a brand new bike. I know. And so if you're one of those people out there listening, call Rachel. She's got a lot of things you can buy for the agency.
I was going to ask you about this. So let's go back to the store for a second.
Yeah.
What do you take in as far as donations that spend the least amount of time on the floor, that get snapped up right away?
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Books. Puzzles.
Okay.
I was surprised by this. I mean, people love those types of things. Crafts, that's a big one. Yarn, and furniture. We cannot keep furniture on the floor no matter what. I mean, it's like it's there and then it's gone. I mean, because people can't buy new furniture anymore. They just cannot.
It is so expensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the minute we have a chair, it's like that day, it is gone. I mean, literally, it is gone.
So if you are a Love Inc. store shopper, you really ought to go in just about every day, right?
And they do.
Yeah.
I mean, the community is there pretty much every other day, just seeing what's there, they do. We have our frequent visitors.
Thrifters.
Yeah.
Rachel, you have volunteers that have been with the organization for like 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these ladies in particular.
So we just had an appreciation lunch on Friday at the store. And those ladies, all of those ladies have been there for 19 years.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And we talked to Jim Whalen a few years ago about how do you make yourself stronger? How do you be a resilient, strong person? And one of the things that Dr. Whalen told us is be around other people.
Yep.
Physically around other people.
Find a purpose.
Yeah. And you want to talk about a purpose? I mean, that store is on fire. Resale stores come and go. They can cycle out quickly. This one's been around for a long time, and it is still throwing off. And that is directly two things. That's the volunteers in the community. Those two groups working together to make that store what it is. It's right downtown, isn't it, Rachel?
It is. It's right downtown on Upton Street. And I mean, it's ebbed and flowed. It's had its really good seasons and it's not so good seasons. But all in all, the community has maintained its generosity through all of it, just saying, hey, we believe in what this cause is. And so we're just going to keep at it.
Right.
So,
the things that Love in the Name of Christ does, I remember there was a family that had a bed bug infestation. and Loving paid for the exterminator, the rubber mattresses, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then another situation I was involved with, this is years, it had been over 10 years ago, was someone that had gone into shelter that couldn't speak English. And they brought me in to translate. And she needed to get back to her family in Florida. Somehow it ended up, in an abusive situation. And we had to call Love in the Name of Christ to get a bus ticket. And you guys bought it for her.
Yep.
It's like, okay, we don't really have a line item in the budget to ship people,
Right.
The woman had a baby. And so we called Love in the Name of Christ, and absolutely, we'll step up, but it's only going one way.
Yeah.
I said, why? I might want to. I said, no.
No,
So
one way.
you're going home.
Yeah.
But what an incredible collaboration and partnership.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're not working as silos. You can't work as silos because
can't.
there are things other people are doing that your clients need help with.
Exactly.
And so it's almost like you open up a menu of needs.
Yep.
You've got this.
Yep.
These folks have this. And it's
Yep.
interesting within these churches, Rich. For example, First Presbyterian has the Jack Frost Closet. That's all winter coats, boots, hats, mittens.
Yes.
But then another church has all the medical. You can borrow a walker and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So it's the collaboration is unbelievable. The lengths of organization that you guys went to
Yeah.
make sure it's all out there.
It's all there.
And
Yep.
when Loving gets a call and somebody's looking for some specific need, you know exactly
We do.
where to direct
We
those
do.
folks.
Yeah. Yeah, the knowledge is vast. It's taken a long time, and it's always updating. We're always trying to make sure that it's still relevant and available. We're always updating it and checking it twice, and so yeah, we try to be relevant. We try to make sure that we're on top of it all, and if it's not, then okay, plan B.
Go ahead.
I remember one time the calls were coming in about wheelchair ramps, and all of a sudden there was a committee of people building wheelchair ramps outside of folks' homes because there were enough of those calls. It was like, all right, who knows how to build a wheelchair ramp?
Right.
Here we go.
Right.
Right.
We only have a few minutes left, so why don't we circle back to the reason why we had you here, Rachel, and talk about we're 5 days into July at this point when this airs, so we've got about 26 days left to raise a lot of money for you.
Yes.
So what do we need to do?
Well, people, I mean, it's always a little bit awkward for me to ask for money because it's hard to ask, but at the end of the day, money is what makes the world go round.
And we've spent the last half hour or 27 minutes talking about what Love Inc. does for the community, right?
And we do a lot. We try really hard to make sure that we are making an impact, but the reality is we can't make an impact unless we are collaborating with the community. We can't do what we do unless everyone else does what they do.
Get your checkbook out, everybody.
Correct. And so we, at this point, we have about a few $1,000s towards our 40. And so our goal is $40,000. Would I like a little more? Of course.
Look at that smile.
We're not gonna
Say no to her.
We won't stop at 40.
No.
Is there a thermometer? How do we keep track?
Yes,
Okay.
and so there's a thermometer outside of our office, so you'll be seeing that. I'm going to try to have a thermometer up on our social media pages. There should be one up by now. I'm sure there is one up by now.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you'll be able to see it on our social media pages. And I just hopefully you are moved to compassion, that you will want to, open your checkbooks, open up your PayPal accounts or your Venmo accounts, open up your wallets and bring that cash in. $40,000. So just to be mindful of what that looks like. Last year, we spent just under $37,000 on propane costs.
Alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She needs the money, folks.
Yeah.
And
All
the
right.
community needs it.
So even though it is a July drive, I'm sure on August 1st you'll still accept any donations.
We will.
Okay,
Yes.
very good.
Yes.
All right.
We're creating a sense of urgency, Rich. We want to get to 40 in July, and then if we go over, fine.
That sounds good to me.
All right, let's do it.
Facebook, got a website. Let's talk about that as we wrap up here.
Website is www.loveinkwexfordosceola.org. Facebook is Love Inc. Wexford Osceola.
Okay.
Rachel, thank you so much. You and your amazing team at Love in the Name of Christ. Thanks for your time today and everything you do.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Get those checkbooks out and join us next week for Cadillac Unscripted, sponsored by Independent Bank. Local chat right here on 107.9 CDY.